name is Deborah Sorenson, and I moved here 4 years ago with my husband to retire from the United States. And my son is here and my daughter, and that's what brought me here, was my son. I always wanted to learn how to scuba dive, so I went to Sasua and got my license there about 4 years ago, and always been an avid snorkeler and started snorkeling here actually 5 years ago, and loved to see the fish, which there weren't very many of, and started to realize that there was something wrong with this reef. So I hooked up with a guy named Manuel Rodriguez Redondo, and he's a marine biologist, and he has taught me a lot in the last year to try and save the reefs. The first most important thing is that the oceans give us 70% of our oxygen. So if we lose the oceans, we won't be here anymore because we won't have the air to breathe. It's very, very important. I never knew this, and so when I've learned these things, I thought, oh my goodness, this is really something that we have to save. Well, when I first got here, I thought it was beautiful, and I started to see that there wasn't very much coral that was alive. There is a lot of broken coral. And what I've learned is coral is not a rock, it's an animal. It's actually hundreds of thousands of polyps on the structure of the coral. And it's very important because it stops the waves, as you can see here, from breaking and taking away the beach. The coral, the plants, all of that is crucial to protecting the beach. It's also crucial to the marine life. The fish need the coral and the coral need the fish, especially the parrotfish. Parrotfish eat the algae off of the coral. Algae kills coral, and we have a lot of algae out there right now for lack of parrotfish. For decades they've been fishing here, and just like everywhere else in the world, coral reefs are responsible for sustaining 500 million people that live right near the oceans all over the world. The reefs are being desecrated by pollution, nitrogen, acidification, global warming, all kinds of reasons, but also overfishing. So what we did here was, through the government, implemented a fishing ban, and that's been very helpful in bringing back the baby fish, because they would go out there literally and stomp on the coral, breaking it, taking fish that big, little octopus that big, and these reefs throughout the world sustain 25% of all the marine life. So it's very, very important. Again, with releasing oxygen into the air, coral reefs and the ocean are also responsible for absorbing carbon, and we all know that there's a huge problem with that, and global warming. So it's a multi-dimensional problem, but what I'm trying to do here with our area, which is really a barrier reef and then a lot of island reefs, is to remove the algae off the coral as I can, make sure that they're not fishing and taking the small baby fish, making nurseries and coral mounds out of dead coral, and we attach broken coral, which is still alive, to the tops of the mounds, creating a coral reef. And it's working. It's amazing. This little nursery right out here was nothing before, and now we have plant life and lots of species of juvenile fish. Okay, so we'll walk down the beach and I'll show you some of the pollution that we have on the beach. And there's plenty of it out in the water as well, which is very sad. So what we have to do is educate. Here in the Dominican and many other islands and third world countries, they don't have garbage pickup. So they throw away all their styrofoam, plastic, even clothing into the riverbeds. And the riverbeds all drain to the ocean. So you end up with a bunch of garbage and plastic and you name it, I've found it, coming into the ocean and polluting it. So we will go down here where you'll see quite a bit of what I'm talking about. It's a speaker, but there's no music, just the music of the ocean. I actually found a television screen out there, brought it back, and my friends set it up, pretended they were watching television. Kids were walking by looking, and they're like, shh, we're watching a show, and they're like, what are they doing? It was hilarious. I even found dentures out here. And Mother Nature is very happy that I'm doing the work I'm doing, because I found a diamond ring, a couple of spinner rings, some very nice designer sunglasses, and jewelry. So I'm happy, I get rewarded. And even an artifact recently. Oh, here you go. Do you need a fan? Yeah, there we go. We got a nice big fan. So it's sad because all of this is not good for the ocean, not good for people. This is so good. I love a massage. Yeah. Oh, this is a good puppy. Adorable. So part of the rewards of being in the water for 2 or 3 hours every day is I come across relics and things that have floated and broken off of probably shipwrecks. This one is great because it was definitely for coins. There was fabric on the bottom, and unfortunately though, the gold coins and the silver coins are somewhere out there, so maybe I'll find them. And pieces of ship, old wood with very, very old iron on it, attachments. And here's another piece here. So with the jewelry and some of the antiques that I find, I have a great time collecting. I collect all the little porcelain pieces that are from broken plates and vases and everything else that went down in the shipwrecks, and I make artwork with them. And it's quite something. I really enjoy it. So lots of rewards from Mother Ocean for the work I'm doing. I'm very grateful. So the sign was from donated funds from people who care about trying to save the reef. But it got a lot of static from the fishermen who have been fishing here for many, many years, decades. And we've educated, some of them understand now that what we're doing is protecting baby fish, which grow to be bigger fish. And if they fish outside of the reefs, they will have more fish to catch. But as you can see, it's crooked. They actually tried to pull it down. But it is to educate and to let people know that they can't take anything here. You may not touch the marine life. You can't take conch shells, eels, turtles, anything. Fish, lobsters, pulpo, which is Spanish for octopus. It's all protected. They can fish down at this end and all the way down at the other end and anywhere else where it's not protected. But the fishermen did really give me and our group a hard time about it. It seems to have subsided somewhat. Except at night. They do illegal fishing with lights, which is like hunting for deer with a spotlight, pretty easy. And here it's very easy to fish because they walk on top of the reef and it's low tide. They can easily find fish. But the problem is they kill everything that's little. Little fish this big, lots of them. So that's stopped, hopefully, and at night again it's still a problem, but that will be addressed eventually with funding. We have to have it secured and monitored and patrolled. And that's the only way to protect it, unfortunately. This memorial that we did was for Melinda Gallo, and it's to honor and memorialize her daughter who passed away, Lizzie. It's named Lizzie's Legacy, and it was the first one that we put out in the ocean, and it's doing very well. I check on it weekly and remove any seaweed that attaches to it and add more corals. So it's a wonderful legacy. So the memorials that we do are for people who have passed on, and we attach coral to the structure or the mound, and then we can put a plaque with their name and in honor of them. So we have done that in the past, and we can continue doing that for people who want to have a mound named after them or someone that they loved. It's a great project. It creates a whole artificial reef and saves the coral, and also creates a space like a nursery for small fish to hide in and be safe in. We've lost so many species out there, and the ocean has so many things that we haven't even tapped into yet. Medicinal properties that will help people get over cancers and other diseases. So there's so many things that we haven't even explored yet in this huge, vast ocean of ours. Costa Rica did it right. They banned all single-use plastics. I would hope the Dominican Republic, being basically tourism as their biggest income, would consider doing the same thing. That would vastly help the pollution of the oceans. Global warming, we all know about that, carbon emissions. There's so many ways to do what we're doing. Small little projects like this are being done all over the world. Bigger ones are being done where they do fragmentation of coral and grow it. Corals that are more able to grow in difficult scenarios in the ocean. So there's a lot of different things, but mostly education and choosing to live our lives differently than we have before, especially to reuse instead of just throwing away. So education is crucial to anything, and here we try and educate the children. We've had a couple of children's camps. We had children come that lived just outside of Costambar, where we live here, who had never been to the beach. Imagine 6-year-old living within a mile, has never been here. They had so much fun. They had some time to pick up trash. You would have thought they were looking for gold. I mean, it was amazing. They went home and told their families, don't throw away the plastic, don't throw the garbage down, because it's not good for the ocean, it's not good for us. They saw their first fish in the little nursery here. They were amazed. So that's through doing that type of thing, education is how we can bring the awareness to this crucial situation for our oceans and marine life. From the reading that I've done, the experts are saying that there is a point of no return. And from what I've read, I believe it's within the next 3 decades. So we have time to reverse our trajectory towards that point of no return, because once we hit that, it's too late. So doing the things that we're doing here, educating, changing our way of life, understanding the bigger picture for the biodiversity of the land and the ocean and the symbiotic situation that it encompasses is the way we have to go forward. But if we don't, we will lose it all. And if we lose that, as I said in the beginning, we lose our oxygen, because it's responsible for 70% of what we breathe. So very, very important. Sylvia Earle is a woman who has been studying the oceans for decades. She's the one that is saying that that point of no return is coming, and we have to do everything we can to reverse it. And we can do it. That's the good news. So help anybody, myself, whoever you know that's trying to make a difference. Change the way you're living. Stop throwing things away, because it all ends up out there and in here if you're eating what's out there. So a year ago I started this project and received donations for about the last 8 months. We received about $3,000, which was great. It helped me put some of the structures out there, put the sign up, which was $400. But what we really need here is a grant. We need a large organization to say, look at what they're doing here and fund us. Most of the funding that I need right now is for nighttime security. Someone who can patrol, get these illegal fishermen out of the water and have them arrested or warned so they don't come back. After that, we want to put in oyster reefs. We need donations for that. We put one in already, and that helps clean the water. And to pay people to help me to go out and clean the coral and just keep going and making this better. There are so many more fish than I saw 5 years ago. so many more fish than I saw even a year ago, and I've documented all of it. So I guess what I need is somebody who says, yeah, wow, this is really worthwhile. Let's help them and give them a grant. That's what I need. Thank you.